Developing countries have no interest in sacrificing their own people at the altar of climate change. And the number one reducer in emissions over the past year was actually the United States.
Let's briefly talk about that. So, first of all, developed countries are the biggest emitters, so they should be taking the brunt of climate action. That just makes sense. Secondly, Ben sort of alluded to the fact that developing countries don't want to sacrifice their people on the altar of, I can't remember his exact phrasing, of climate change, I guess. Implicit in that is this idea that going green is costly and is detrimental to the well-being of people. Going renewable is actually, in many cases, a better option for a lot of developing countries for a number of reasons. One, most developing countries don't have easy access to fossil fuels. Some have them in their own land, but most countries, in order to get to fossil fuels, they have to import them, which means they're automatically tying their energy security to the global market and to energy exporters. That, economically, I don't know. I think energy self-sufficiency is something to aim for, and renewables give that. Two, most developing countries are sunny, right? Think Africa as a continent gets a lot of sunlight, so solar becomes a very real prospect. Three, a lot of developing countries are very, very rural, which means that building the kind of complex energy grids that we have in the West doesn't really make sense. Take a country like the Congo, right, in Central Africa. It's huge, and its population density is incredibly low. So trying to build an energy grid like we have here in the UK, where it's kind of the opposite. Our population density is very high. That's just not viable. The logistical challenge, the infrastructure you'd have to build would be insane. However, remote solar farms make far more sense. You can set them up remotely. You don't need an energy grid. They're self-sufficient, and they're a very good option, potentially, for a lot of the rural, poorer contexts in which a lot of people in developing countries live.